Hello, and welcome to another installment of Podcast Beyond. I'm your host, Games Editorial Manager Jeremy Dunham, and today I am joined by PlayStation Team Editor-in-Chief Christopher Lee Roper.
Yes, that is my name.
And editors Greg Miller and Jeff Haynes.
What up?
Smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no!
And associate editor Ryan Clements.
Hello, what's up?
And by the way, if any of you think that Ryan sounds a little tired, he is. Why are you so tired, Ryan?
I ended up playing Folklore, trying to burn through it all through the night, so I actually didn't go to sleep last night. I'm still going. Yes, I beat it.
How long have you been up now, you think?
Since Sunday at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's when I woke up last time.
Well, here's your challenge. You actually have to stay up until every last person has heard this podcast. That way, at least you're truthful. Because what happens if you're asleep when they're listening to it?
Then it's a lie.
Oh, no. Then it's a lie. Wait perpetually for the people like a week from now who listen.
Exactly.
This thing will be on the internet. People will be listening to it 10 years from now, so that means you can't sleep ever again. Until the internet is extinct.
Just grab some no-dos.
Before we go into this week's topic, as always, it is time for the Roper Report.
Time for some news.
So this week was kind of a little bit less on news because TGS was, a week and a half ago now, and, coming out of that, there wasn't a whole lot to say. And we're in release season, which means that games are kind of riding on, the hype they've been building. Really, there's not really much that needs to be announced. But there are a couple interesting things that happen. First off, for PSP fans that went and signed up for the God of War Chains of Olympus demo, you'll be happy to know that Sony is now shipping them to you. They started shipping on Friday, so I guess possibly you could have gotten them on Friday evening. But
do we have one yet?
Yes, we do.
We have two.
We wrote about it on Friday.
There you go.
It's very cool.
You can check that out on IGN.com.
Yes, but you should be getting those today, tomorrow, something like that. I don't know how fast they ship them, but you should get them. It's pretty cool. EA, MTV, Harmonix, whichever one makes the official announcements from those guys, announced the Rock Band pricing, and luckily it is less than pretty much everybody thought. We're talking the entire bundle here that comes with a guitar, microphone, drum set, and the game. And everybody was figuring it would be $200, including myself, but it is apparently going to be a paltry $169.99. Maybe 95 cents. I don't know which one.
So, Roper, what happens if I put down money on that there Rock Band
like
bundle?
Roper and I did, for instance?
Yeah, so apparently, and this is specific to GameStop, EB, all those people, is that they apparently pay you back in whatever form you paid them. So if you walked in and said, here's money off my credit card, they'll refund it to your credit card or give you cash back. And if you had trade-in cash, then you'll get store credit back again. The PS3 one and 360 and whatever else are $169. And then the PS2 version is $159. The difference there, I'm assuming, is because most PS2 games are $50, most PS3 games are $60, so you get that $10 difference. And the PS3 version of the game does ship with a wireless guitar. So there you go, good for that. Gran Turismo fans in Japan who have not, for some reason, downloaded Gran Turismo HD will be sad to know that Sony has, or is supposed to have, pulled it off the market over this weekend. And the leaderboards are down. Those are been removed. It doesn't Sony doesn't magically delete it off your hard drive, but you can't ever upload your leaderboard scores again. And if you don't have it already, you can't download it. Basically, it was supposed to be a limited time, which was 9 months of limited time of release for it. It was a nice little prize or whatever. And so they're sort of getting rid of that and clearing space, and then for the imminent release of Gran Turismo Prologue.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, whatever that is. Some sad and good news is that Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction went gold last week, but it also was delayed by a week.
Wow.
So now it's 100% official. The game's done. It's coming out, but instead of the 23rd, it will now be October 30th.
We missed it 2 months ago.
Minor beyond.
So anyway, if you travel back in time, it's still coming out. So October 30th for that game. And then perhaps the most interesting news of the week is completely unofficial, but in an FCC filing, Sony had submitted specs and whatever you'd call them for what could possibly be thought of as a new PlayStation 3 model. So first off, there is a different model number. So the 60 gig model number for the PS3 is CEC-HA01, the 80 gig is CEC-H01, and the new one is CEC-HG01. So there is a new model number they submitted. So that's kind of partly proof. On the spec, it says that it still has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Obviously, Bluetooth is the controller stuff. but there was only 2 USB ports tested, which it's possible that the FCC only tests 2 of them and still has 4 or whatever, but it could also mean that there's only 2 USB ports on this model, and there was no hard drive spec on the sheet. Now, obviously, there's going to be a hard drive on the system because everybody is programming for it to be there. Sony couldn't possibly remove it now because that would break games. That wouldn't work. The common rumor going around now is that it's going to be a 40 gig model, a couple things stripped out, like maybe only 2 USB ports instead of 4, 40 gig hard drive, and come out at, everybody's rumoring, at $399. So maybe that will happen. But apparently something has been submitted to the FCC.
And what is Sony saying about this?
Oh, of course they don't comment on rumor or speculation. So,
by the way, for those of you who don't deal with Sony on a regular basis, that is their favorite line.
Mm-hmm.
We do not comment on rumors and speculation. Also a very popular line at Capcom.
Yes.
Those are
it's a popular line at a lot of companies.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's fun.
Those are the 2 I hear it from the most. Usually.
Yeah, because you can call up a company and say, "Hey, what's up with this?" And they're like, "We're not talking about it." So you can say, "Hey, okay, should I then write we don't comment on rumors?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then so lots of paperwork are out of the way.
Standard industry term of not yet.
Yeah, so that's that.
And another note, it's Greg Miller's last week of freedom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
After what day are you getting married?
Final countdown Saturday, October 6th.
What time and what the time zone?
It's Central, 6:30.
6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
You're doing a late one.
I am. I'm registered at Target if anybody wants to buy me a PlayStation 3 or other video game accessories.
You doing it inside or outside?
Outside. Supposed to be 80 degrees, sunny, no rain.
Not bad.
Nice.
In a rose
Very
garden.
Mm-hmm.
Are you accepting open wedding crashers or no?
You can come to the ceremony if you like. Don't come to the actual reception.
Okay.
There won't be food for you there.
Yeah, there's no food for you.
Are you comfortable saying where the ceremony is, or do you
No,
want to keep it?
they can do the detective work.
There
You
go.
can drop an email with the receipt and what you bought me, and then you can.
But we can
find
tell them
out
what
it is.
state it's in.
It's in Missouri.
There you go. So good luck. So my family's from Missouri originally. by the
Whoa.
way, just to let you know.
Okay.
Way back when, late 1800s, early 1900s.
How many Greg Millers do you figure live in Missouri?
And are getting married this weekend?
Yeah.
Not that many.
I figure probably a couple. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out. That'd be awesome if some other dude's getting married, and
He gets all these gifts. What the hell?
PS3?
but I don't even have a television. So this week, you have to forgive me. I was out all last week, and these guys, I think, were just checked out last week because we struggled and struggled before the show came up to come up with a topic. And what did we end up with, Chris?
Well, I don't even know that we came up with anything.
Exactly.
Nailed.
So we're going to go. I think what our plan is now is we're going to go through reader mail and then basically go crazy on answers.
In our
That's
defense,
right.
though, is that the thing we are going to talk about the games we are reviewing this week, which are many.
A little bit.
There's many exclusives, but since the reviews haven't gone up, we can't talk about them. And since that's all we did last week was play those games, it's kind of hard to have.
Exclusives such as what, Greg?
Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron on PSP on Friday. Final Fantasy Tactics on
War of the Lions
I
on
could not remember
That's
that for life.
today.
Today.
So you can talk about that.
Monday.
Folklore on Wednesday.
Wednesday morning.
It's a lot of
Morning.
exclusives.
WWE 24/7 mode on Wednesday afternoon.
That's not a review, but it is exclusive.
It's exclusive. You shut up.
I
I am on the microphone
I don't want
right
people
now.
to think that the SmackDown review is going up.
No,
because
I
it's
guess
not.
not.
Real
Smack
early.
down
Yeah.
yourself there, Miller.
You shut up. Everybody shut up.
Yeah. So anyway, so there's lots of stuff.
I was just taking his advice, wasn't saying anything.
Yeah, good job.
Hey, so let's go through the reader mail then.
Ready, Mel?
Read a mail. I brought my A game today. I don't know if you
Mail
guys
call?
caught that email. Somebody emailed in
got-
bitching at me and Jeff for not being on
Hey,
lately.
dude. We are A game. Come on, man.
I'm A game.
First question comes from Sean, 9986.
A minus game.
Says that a couple of years ago we heard about a PlayStation 3 game called Kuriyami. What happened to it? Will we ever hear any more on it, or did it get canceled?
Let me see the spelling of this game. Last week you mentioned Neo, and I was like, I'd forgotten that it was the Cody
NI
game NI space
hyphen
OH, and I was like,
Hyphen OH.
Hyphen.
or yeah, and I was thinking it was NEO like the Matrix.
Yeah.
I was like, what Neo game were you? And then I remember, so maybe spelling will help
gotcha.
me. Yeah, it doesn't help at all. Yeah.
The game has not been canceled. It is still in development, but there hasn't been any word since that that studio has other projects going on. So hopefully one day we'll find out. 2779, a frequent question asker, would also like to know something himself. What is one remake that you'd like to see on the PS3 from generations past, and what would you like to see given the Metroid Prime treatment. That is, you take an old game, a certain gameplay formula, and re-envision it. We'll go around the room because I think that's actually quite an interesting topic. Starting with the marriage boy. Greg?
That's me. Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid. Or even Metal Gear from NES.
Well, how would you see it remade?
Well, you said. Well, I thought it was a two-part question.
Okay, that's fine.
Remade, yeah, that one, and then a re-envisioning, like a whole different perspective on a game. That's a tough one. I wasn't prepared for this one. You didn't brief us for this one. You should go around the first and do the first one, and then come back. All right.
Rope.
I have two games that apply to both these answers.
Damn you, Roper.
I'm on point right here. I want to see Bionic Commando, and I want to see Road Rash.
Oh, okay, yeah, Road Rash. That's awesome one, too.
Road Rash would be, I think. I mean, I said this maybe about a year ago, and I forget what form it was, but I would like to see the Burnout engine, basically the same kind of gameplay, fast as hell, crazy as all balls, and basically just put you on motorcycles and you fight dudes, and they're both EA games, so bam, you got it right there. They're already halfway there. They got the engine.
Fun fact about Road Rash, it was actually in development for the PS2 way back when, and then for some reason or another, EA decided not to finish it, and it never came out. But it was in development at one point for PlayStation 2.
Yep, and especially with Ragdoll these days, the crashes could be awesome.
And I think with Capcom's recent success, I think a remake of Bionic Commando will happen eventually. We've written about it in our Classics Reborn article.
That's what it was.
Quite a few
that's
times.
what it was.
Yeah.
But that game.
I think that one has a good shot at coming out.
Yeah, and
Right?
I would like to see the original game go up on some online, one of the Xbox Live Marketplace or PlayStation Store. I'd like to just have the game available to me.
Never go up on the PlayStation Store unless it's the arcade version.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, Ryan?
Listeners may remember me talking about a game called Azure Dreams before, one of my favorite really old games for the PlayStation. I think that would be a really cool remake to do on the PS3, or even the PS2, just anything more than the PS1, because that definitely is dated now, looking back on it.
How would you change the way the game works?
Well, I didn't know. Well, I'm just applying this to the remake, not necessarily a re-envisioning. But
Ooh, everyone's getting me on that one.
Well, if you had to re-envision it, I wouldn't want it to change much because it already kind of perfected what it was doing at that time, and I wouldn't want it to tweak it too much to go beyond the
same game, only told with mice. Think about it.
That would be awesome. Ooh, of
like
Mice and Men, the video game.
Right, or it's like Secret of Nim. Exactly.
Secret of
That'd be freaking
Secret
excellent.
of Nim could actually be super cool.
That
Man,
would
that
be
game would be rad.
excellent.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've got a huge list, but I was going to say Bionic Commando, but right now I think I'll move to maybe Lunar with maybe a full-on cel-shaded environment. Just completely take the entire animated cutscene situation that they had from Lunar 2, make the entire thing
one long
fully
shot.
cel-shaded, almost like Dragon Quest VIII.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see a Vagrant Story brought back.
Ooh, that's
and
a good
just,
one.
Remade, because the entire, not only the visual style, but even just the game world and concept behind it was really cool. And I think that's definitely one of those games that deserves to come back in some way, shape, or form.
As for me, there are many games like you that I would like to see redone. But as I sat here thinking about it, as you guys talked about, one game I would really like to see brought back is Descent. Remember that game?
Oh, yeah.
I never got into that, man. I think that was because it came out and it was like the competition to Quake for 3D games. It was like, ooh, you can play Descent or you can play Quake, and I was a Quake man.
Descent came with my Windows 95, so it's one of the first Windows 95 compatible games that I'd played, and I thought it looked good. It was fun, and they had a really good team behind that. And I thought the technology. Imagine taking that idea though, and using today's technology. I think it would turn out pretty well.
You know another game that I'd like them to bring back and release? Duke Nukem 3D. A new game based on that type of gameplay.
We could call it Duke Nukem Forever and announce it 10 years ago.
Let's do that.
All right.
There we go.
So back to you, Greg. Now that you've had time to think about it, what would you re-envision?
Lego Ghostbusters.
Ooh,
Oh, snap.
There
that's
you go.
good.
That's an awesome one.
I like that a lot.
That is nice.
Better
Man.
patent that sucker.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, I wanted people
It's
to make
gonna
it.
happen
Somebody
now,
go
watch.
make it.
That's $1 trillion idea there, Greg.
LucasArts, get your stuff together.
I'm surprised you haven't seen a Lego Lord of the Rings, by the way.
Oh,
Man, yeah.
That one I would think was going to be a foregone conclusion. But
Yeah, that's a good
Batman,
call,
Star
actually.
Wars, Ghostbusters would be great. I'd play
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Rope?
I didn't know we were taking a second turn.
All right, Ryan?
Battle chess. I don't know.
Go to sleep. I was giving you some great thought.
You're out, dude.
I basically chose the most random game I possibly
what?
could fathom.
I'm going to take a game that in some ways played like crap and could actually be a good concept. Maybe take something as cheesy as Battletoads from the NES and actually make it like an actual like a solid fighting engine that wasn't cheap or
make
cheesy.
it not impossible
and not impossible, but actually like a full on experience, kind of like making Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles without it sucking, like they did with the remake.
We'd never be able to play it on the PlayStation 3.
Oh, that's true.
Jeff's in it for the
I
greater
got one.
good.
I'm coming back to my turn. I want to see the Out of This World series.
Oh, like Flashback and
Yeah, Flashback, Out of This World. Those games were rad.
Fade to Black.
Yeah, Fade to Black.
Yeah.
Those games are awesome. I love to see them redo that.
They're the same exact. Well, how would you redo it though?
Well, I mean, it would be very.
Obviously, it doesn't work in the previous way that it was done.
Well, I mean, no, it could be very close to that. You could have graphics that actually looked perfectly hand drawn. Animation would be absolutely outstanding, and you could, you could still make it side scrolling. I would probably keep it a side scrolling game. I think it could be awesome.
Actually, I have a completely separate one too. Like, just to take another classic, you could take something like Sword of Vermilion and East, or the East series, and kind of turn it into almost an Oblivion style adventure with like huge worlds, larger dungeons, bigger adventures to actually get yourself into.
Sword of Vermilion had an awesome title screen song, by the way. When anyone remember that?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Very much so.
For me, I just redo Return Fire using the Company of Heroes engine. Put that one out there.
Oh, I love Return Fire. I
That would
totally
rock.
forgot about that game.
I would play that game.
It's a blast from the past.
So there you go, to answer your question in a very long, roundabout way. Our next question comes from Agent Trav. Greg,
Yay!
you know him. Wants to know why everything he says gets misquoted on the actual show. The irony being that that's not how he asked the question.
She's a punk ass bitch.
The real reason is because I get to the gist of the question when I read it off. I don't read them verbatim, or we'd be here for. There's some really long questions here, so.
And a lot of people can't type very well. Right. So you'd be reading typos and all kinds of shit like that.
So I just get to the main topic.
Yeah.
And look, we answered his question.
There you go.
Booyah.
We60 says that Insomniac and Naughty Dog 2 are developers that have, in a way, battled for 2 generations now. Which developer do we think is better? Most of their games are constantly compared to each other, like Crash and Spyro and Jack and Ratchet. It's a good question.
It is a very good question.
You know, I don't know if I'd actually consider one to necessarily be like better than the other. I think like the mechanics that they bring to each game and each game series like works well for that particular like title or that character. So, you know, the way that they manage to take somebody like Ratchet or Jack and make the elements, sure, there's certain similarities to it, but like the way that they manage to depict those characters in those situations have their own kind of unique stamp on it. So it's almost kind of in some way like kind of comparing siblings. Even though like obviously somebody might have a favorite or whatever. Like,
So you're picking Sucker Punch?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm picking Sly Cooper.
I don't think that this question is very easily answerable until we see how Uncharted turns out, because if you're talking about the Ratchet series or the Jack series or Spyro or whatever, but especially the Ratchet and Jack series, each side did 3 or 4 games in those franchises, so they're just building off what they did before. And both of them are fantastic franchises, and they're constantly building. But there wasn't really a whole lot of new stuff that they did last time. They weren't experimenting all that much, outside of they changed from game to game. But now you have Insomniac doing Resistance, and you have Naughty Dog doing Uncharted, and I think that's where you're going to kind of see like, okay, hey, the studio can do something different. They're going to branch out and giving a whole new IP and starting from scratch. Here's what they're capable of doing. I don't think that's a very. I don't really care to ever answer that question because who cares? They're both great studios, but I think that'll be more easily answerable once we see how Uncharted works.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see how Uncharted stacks up against Resistance. And everyone knows that I prefer Ratchet in terms of the game. So I always last gen, I leaned toward Insomniac simply because I like the Ratchet series. But in PlayStation days, I preferred Crash to Spyro every time.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the game, really. I think they're both great developers, along with Sucker Punch, who we also mentioned. I think. There we go. FF Obsessed 86 says Star Ocean 4. It was announced at E3, and a trailer was shown at TGS behind closed doors, but they refused to say what platform it's for. This is possibly the most ridiculous game reveal I've ever witnessed. Here's a sequel to a great RPG franchise. We won't let you get excited about it because we won't tell you if you'll be able to play on the system you own. It's ridiculous.
Is that a direct quote, or is that your direct quote?
That's ridiculous.
That's a direct quote. Anyway, so my question is, do you know which platform it's for? Is it on PS3? I don't care if it's exclusive or not. Just if it's on PS3, I can so I can play it? And why on earth would a company refuse to announce what platform a game is on? Are they trying to get Sony or Microsoft to pay them some money, or what? Guys?
I don't know what platforms it's on. Maybe you know what platforms it's on.
No
I'm
comment.
thinking here, though, that they're not going to announce it because I think if it was exclusive to one system, they probably would have announced it right off. They probably would have said it's a PS3 game or whatever. I think from my guess is that it's going to be a multi-platform game, PS3, 360, maybe it'll be on the Wii, who knows. And some of those paperwork just isn't done yet. And they don't want to come out and say, we've already signed on with Sony, and then like later on down the line say, oh, it's also coming out for the 360, because that stuff happens all the time. So they're probably waiting until everything's wrapped up and it's all good, and they know it's going to, that they're going to release all the SKUs and whatever. Basically, until everything is finalized, I think is when they're going to announce what it's on. I would very much expect it to be a cross-platform 360 PS3 game.
In other words, we'll let you know when we can.
Yeah.
He'd also like to know what the deal is with Persona 4. Jeff Haynes kindly revealed that Persona 4 was in development for PS3 on a previous podcast, but other places have mentioned that it's in fact Shin Megami Tensei 4. Yeah. Could Jeff or Jeremy please clarify as whether it's the next Shin Megami Tensei or Persona that's in development for the PS3?
Right now, from what I've heard, it's the next Shin Megami Tensei. The details which we didn't expect were going to be shown or revealed at TGS are still being heavily guarded over at Atlas. Far as we know, it's going to be coming out hopefully by next year. Although that seems a little optimistic in some ways, but that's pretty much it. I mean, they really haven't been willing to reveal a lot else about the next title in the series.
Definitely Shin Megami Tensei. One thing to remember is in the U.S. they attach the Shin Megami Tensei brand
to everything,
to all the spin-offs.
Right, to whether it's Persona or actual Shin Megami Tensei
exactly.
canon.
But when the game was originally announced, and I remember this because I wrote up the news story when we were at TGS, was that it was announced as Shin Megami Tensei. So it is part of the main line.
Right.
And wow, FFF Obsessed has a bunch of questions. This one's also for Greg, meaning the first one for Greg.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Your Beyond Annoying and Beyonding of Agent Trav was legendary, but you haven't done one since. All you have to do is check the PS3 General Board. There are assholes everywhere. Hell, pick a few and go nuts. Such talent should not be wasted. Why haven't you done one since then? That was the first episode. Haven't been anything since.
Hold on, everybody. Nate Ahern is putting up a thing. Greg, I need to use
Beyond
your
Annoying.
TU to test the resolution. Yeah, go ahead.
Nate is the second Beyond
Nate
Annoying.
Ahern, who's the editor
winner.
trying to review NBA Live. Dude, what the
Oh, that's not cool.
is trying to come in our podcast, and then we kicked him out.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
And then Will Tuttle came over here and held up a sign that says, Greg, Missouri sucks.
And we do not
So-
suck. Missouri is quite cool. And on top of that, they are undefeated. Come on, go Tigers. Big 12. Ranks and everything.
So where the hell is
Awesome.
Not better than LSU.
Beyond
baby.
Annoying, where's Beyond Annoying? I haven't seen anyone that annoying since. That's all. Agent Trav was annoying in the podcast Beyond thread that one time. And since then, he's been trying to pose and be fake annoying. And now he's kind of endeared.
And that's part of the problem as well, right? Is that since that time, you have people sort of purposely trying to get picked.
It's kind of dropped off since that first week I did it. But yeah, there's still some kids. And not only that, Ryan's been getting the questions for like the last 3 weeks.
So, well, he's popular now.
He's picking up pieces.
I wouldn't go that far.
I think the key is the fact that you never shave. And
That's
yet,
probably it.
You never have a beard either.
It-
You got that George Michael thing going
It's drawn on.
Yeah.
Permanent marker.
Omega 3X wants to know what effect we believe Microsoft's recent decision to shift their focus away from Japan and into Europe will have on Sony's success.
Nothing, because they didn't do anything in Japan. I don't know. I don't think it's going to have any sort of difference whatsoever. Same games are coming out the same places. Who cares?
Yep.
Blah.
Japan
Blah.
will always prefer Sony and Nintendo to Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Will always be that way. So it doesn't matter what they do.
Yeah.
J.H. Lennon1 just said that listened to our last podcast. It was the first time they listened to any of our podcasts, and they were very impressed with them. So thank you very much. Did have a question about TGS that wasn't answered. Did anyone in the room here attend the closed Square Enix showing and see Final Fantasy 13 and Versus 13 trailers? And if so, what are your impressions?
No, I didn't because I was running around trying to coordinate everything else and handle all these other things.
I talked to Charles about it.
Charles
was in
Charles
it.
saw
Yeah.
all of them.
And he wrote about them.
Yes, he did. And I was discussing it with him too. So yeah, he seemed pretty impressed.
So check the site for Charles' impressions of the trailers.
Maybe we should go get Charles right now and have him on.
What's his
guest appearance
extension?
on
We'll
Beyond.
speakerphone him real quick. Anybody know his extension?
Actually, he is in an appointment right now, so we can't do that.
Lame.
And then he has a
Stupid
question for
Canadian.
me. As a Ratchet fan, have I tried out the latest demo? If I can, please share my thoughts. I have tried out the latest demo at E3. It's the same demo. So share my thoughts. It'd be just go back and read that E3 preview that we did, the hands-on with Ratchet. And I've talked about it before on previous podcasts, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, so you could look for it there.
Thumbs up or down, just real fast.
In short, thumbs up. A little bit slower than previous Ratchet games, and as I said before, that I missed the
Somebody hit the nurse button.
the old first-person shooter controls, but from what I hear, they've put them back in, so that's good. Angry Shadow Man just listened to the podcast, and surprisingly, there was no mention of MGS4, unless he completely missed it when he went to the bathroom. You missed it. We did talk about it.
Yeah, you were in the bathroom.
for like an hour.
You can pause these. They aren't live.
Maybe he's got the live feed.
Wow.
Omen20 has a suggestion for us. Would like us to get Richard Marks on the show to discuss the PlayStation Eye with him. I think that's a great idea.
Every time somebody says Richard Marks, I'm like, the singer? I'm like, what the hell?
So, Chris, that's your goal. You have to get him on the show so we
Very
can talk
good.
about the PlayStation Eye. Thank you for that suggestion. We'll look into it. Agent Trav, the second question of the show. Believe it or not, Greg Miller is growing on him.
Good.
Says,
Man.
in fact, Greg Miller is growing on me like a face hugger from Aliens. I'll admit,
They don't grow
really
on
grow.
your face,
They-
though.
they
put
attach
themselves.
Baby.
What
Yeah.
hug.
They
That
attach
doesn't-
themselves to your face.
Huh.
I'll admit I jumped the
Dumbass.
gun early on in the podcast history about him, and I apologize.
Oh, Agent Trav.
I've actually been catching myself laughing out loud at things he says, so I guess this is an apology. Kind of an apology. Sorry, Greg, for being such a jerkwad.
Oh, it's cool. You're my friend now. Come to my wedding. Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, now it's
It's out of the bag. Everybody come to Kansas City.
So now we're narrowing it down. By the
Yeah.
end of the show, we'll have the address.
Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson showing up at Greg's wedding.
Owen Wilson just tried to kill himself.
I know.
Combat Wombat wants to know if we think it's too late for Sony to win the holiday season. Yes. Anybody else?
Ooh, definitive.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
going to be difficult to compete with Halo 3.
Yeah.
And then Mass Effect.
and yeah.
They're going to do well, I think, with things like Rock Band and Guitar Hero.
But those are also available on 360.
Exactly.
And remember, Nintendo has Smash Brothers and
Super
Mario.
Mario.
And if they have to still
So-
keep defending Lair like a while after it's been released, then no.
Sony. So here's my quick prediction. So I don't take forever on this. Sony's not going to do all that great at the holiday season. They'll do fine, but if they're going to step it up at any point, it's going to be in Q1, Q2.
Q1
So-
is the one that I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to.
Yeah,
They have a lot
I'm
of
thinking some stuff's going to get pushed back into Q2. But so like the first half of next year is going to be awesome for Sony, and that's when things should turn around. If they're going to turn around, it's going to be then.
It'll be really interesting to see next holiday season. Once everyone's established, home's out. Sony's been around now for 2 full years. We've got all
EA
these
games
things.
run okay.
Exactly. In theory, we'll find
Whoa.
out.
Now
I
you're
think it'll
getting
be
a little
interesting to
crazy.
see. But this year, yeah, it belongs to Nintendo and Microsoft. Andrew Dean 84 wants to know if we could make any movie into a video game and make sure that it's great, which one would it be? He'd pick Princess Mononoke and Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
He'd
I'm
pick
sorry.
Mononoke from movie to game,
Oh,
and then
okay,
he'd
thank
pick
you,
Metal
thank you,
Gear
thank you,
Solid
thank you.
from game to movie.
All right.
I'd pick Kill Bill from movie to game. So there.
Yeah.
It would be like Dead Rising without the zombies.
Man,
Well, that'd be 28 days later.
Yeah.
I really,
Again.
I don't want to actually answer this question because then I would always feel bad about saying, hey, you should make Burnout whatever into a movie, and then all of a sudden they screw up the storyline.
Right.
Not that Burnout is a story, but I don't know.
Indigo
yeah.
Prophecy would make a great movie.
That game just got weird
If
at the
done
end,
right.
man.
Yeah.
There was
I
like
think if done right, it'd make a great
funky.
movie.
there's some I don't know.
Anybody else? Suggestions?
The next
Comments?
Batman flick.
Yeah, let's make Batman into a movie. Good idea.
Do a video game. I'm going the other way.
Kara37 wants to know which IGN offices are better, Los Angeles or San Francisco?
San Francisco.
San Francisco,
There's no
easily.
even people in LA would tell you that's San Francisco,
The LA office is very small and cramped.
and you can't park there.
But they
at
do have
all.
a wiener dog that runs around.
Yeah, they do have that.
He's cute.
They're also right next to a Best Buy, which is a big bonus.
That's true.
But their conference
That's
room
it, dude.
takes off like an engine.
Yeah.
Every 10 minutes.
I just
So.
prefer San Francisco weather.
Yeah.
Even though I grew up in Southern California, I'm a San Francisco weather sort of guy.
And you don't have to deal with LA traffic here.
He also thinks that you should sing the Snake Eater song, Greg.
Oh, okay.
Hasn't he already though?
No.
A few
No. Nathan 2587 wants to know what are the controls like for MGS4?
The
Are they
controls-
similar to 3?
Yes, they are. They're very similar to 3. They've adjusted a couple of things for MGS4, but part of it, like it really is intuitive if you've played any of the series. The biggest thing that they've done to make it a lot easier is they've removed the number of button presses that you have to do for certain actions. So CQC is a lot easier to do.
That's good to hear.
For instance, like you can now do CQC with just about anything, two-handed weapons like rifles or submachine guns. Doing a lot of the choke moves or other things really is as simple as like basically holding and then releasing and then grabbing R1 again within a second or two time span and flicking the analog stick for certain things, or holding the analog stick or doing other things to do specific throws or kicks or.
What about
chokes.
what about ODB?
Well, ODB. He's the man,
All right,
and he actually is a secret character in GS4.
awesome.
Scoop, right there.
Bosnian Dream wants to come in with the comment. Just says cool.
Yes,
Cool.
awesome.
Shimmy,
I had to leave that
And
in there.
our third message from Agent Trav of the day, it says, by the way, Jeff, you're still not funny.
Damn, beyond.
By the way, Agent Trav still trying to be annoying. It's sad.
Inline Henry also wants to say beyond.
Beyond.
And finally, SV Tracer 0587 says that he's curious to know what difficulty we play our games on when we review them. Do we play on the hardest difficulty so we can get the best judgment on the game, or do we play on the easiest difficulty so you can beat it swiftly and get the review out on time?
Neither. We play on normal.
We play the way that everyone is supposed to play right out of the box.
Exactly.
And we'll try other difficulties after the fact, just to give it an idea.
Right. And there are some games where you should be trying it on harder because people are going to be expected to play it on that level. But generally speaking, the game was tuned to be played on normal difficulty, medium, whatever you call it. And that's where things aren't punishingly hard, and it has a supposedly correct amount of difficulty. So that's where we generally play our games.
And some of that actually varies too, because if you're playing a sports game and you've played it for a long time, then yeah, you'll usually wind up ramping it up to the level you usually play at when you're not like reviewing the game. If it's also one of those games where the difficulty's locked at normal, you have to play through that to unlock, hard, super hard, kill
Did you
yourself.
say tard?
Yeah, tard
I think you
level.
did say tard. You've got to play through tard.
Let's play through tard level, then super tard, then
Kill
short
yourself.
yellow bus, kill yourself. Yeah, that's it.
Another question. This doesn't come from any particular reader, but I know a lot of readers are thinking it. I'm sure they want to know what the PlayStation team thinks of Halo 3.
I think the single-player game was boring as hell. Completely underwhelming. I haven't played online yet. I just finally finished the single-player last night, and it was like... It was just kind of meh. I don't know.
I'm only to level 6. I was on painkiller, so I didn't do too much. But the what I think, so I think a good presentation. But the online's really cool. I'm not quite convinced that it's the end-all be-all game yet, but I still have to finish the game and still play some competitive stuff.
It doesn't turn around and make it all of a sudden amazing in the last couple chapters.
Essentially, what I'm asking is, what is Killzone 2's shot of competing with something like Halo 3 in terms of its critical reception, since obviously they're coming out at different times?
Well, okay. Well, the critical reception that's a hard one because Halo got so much hype and so many. I don't know. It got scored so well across the board, and some people's taste, and it's not really mine. And I haven't played the online yet. I think Killzone, just from what I know about the online, though, Killzone's going to have a really hard time matching Halo's online functionality and how fun it is. But I think it won't have too hard of a time being a better single-player game. So,
Anybody else play Halo?
I can't because my 360 is still being held hostage by Microsoft, those fuckers.
Boned.
So,
No, boned.
yeah.
I can't because I'm getting ready for the wedding.
Nice.
Beyond.
Cool. So
So
there you go.
playing.
Killzone 2 maybe has a shot.
I just got a 360 this weekend.
Oh my
Way to
god!
What?
What?
This is news.
Yeah, it is kind of news.
Yeah.
What games did you buy for it?
Just Halo 3.
Man, buy Dead Rising.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to. I
Everyone
was
told
looking
you
at
to
it.
get that game, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to. It's just when you spend so much money on the system at first, you have to limit the amount of games you get right off the bat.
But then it's the other way around. If you spend $350 on a system and you only buy one game, you're not really getting your money's worth because that means that you spent $420 or $410 on one game.
Are you dropping that money in the arcade yet?
I will. I want to get Geometry Wars because I've only played it at other people's consoles. I've never actually played
Yeah.
it on my own.
Anyway, enough about 360.
That's right.
Yeah.
Beyond.
So there.
Beyond?
There it is. So there. Showed you.
Pick of the week time.
God, man.
Big game.
What's coming out this week that people should be on the lookout for?
Yeah.
That
You
helps.
guys
What-
suck.
No, Final Fantasy's coming out this week.
No, that's next week.
Shit, that's next week. Damn it. Our review.
NBA 2K8 comes out this week. NBA Live 08 comes out this week. NBA 08 comes out. This is basketball week.
Yeah, it's basketball
Jeff,
week.
you've checked out all three. Mm-hmm. What are you leaning towards? You think is the one worth everyone's money for PlayStation 3 owners right now?
Well, right now I think that the obvious lean would probably be towards 2K8.
Why is it obvious?
Well, I think partially because Live has a huge amount of ground to make up for from last year. Mm-hmm. And from what I've seen, it definitely does make up some of that ground. It's still not fully there. It still has a ways to go as far as, like, you know, getting the experience that Live fans have known and loved from previous years. 2K8 is still, you know, it's basically the same thing that you got from last year's game. It's a little bit weaker than 2K7. Still a lot of funky gameplay issues, a lot of really odd choices on how they manage to do things. Certain elements like free throw shooting still really, really hard to do. But it's the same kind of 2K series, so it gives you a large amount of the depth, a large amount of the simulation, a large amount of everything you're expecting. NBA 08, it's better in some ways than last year's breakout on the PS3. But in some ways, like, Sony's basketball series has always kind of been like a mutant form of basketball. It's not arcade, it's not sim.
Mutant League, everything. That's another game that I want brought back.
That
Holy
should also-
shit.
that
Mutant
would
League
be
hockey.
awesome.
Oh
I
my
like football
god.
more.
Mutant League
than hockey.
football was freaking
Whatever.
excellent.
They were all good. Man, Ivan and I have been talking about
Come on,
that.
EA.
Okay, I'm not going to ruin this in case
Ivan,
you
come
one
on,
day get
EA.
to me.
Bring
Ivan
it back.
Sulich, for those of
Ivan
you
Sulich.
who may be an old school fan of the PlayStation team, we
Yeah.
still talk to him. He works over.
We'd been talking about what we
Flagship.
would do with the Mutant League games, so we could bring them back. We had some pretty
that
good ideas, I
franchise-
think.
What are the
Excellent.
games that we always talk about if we could make them? That Fight Night, all the time.
Yeah.
If we made Fight Night, this is what we would do.
Yeah.
Hand me a chicken.
Give me a chicken wing. I got it.
That's what we do. Whenever we talk about games, there's always a barbecued chicken involved.
And 40 ounces,
Yep.
at least in my
Good
case.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick programming note for everybody. In this month of October, this being the Halloween month, or Samhain for you Wiccans out there, there's
That's a good one.
We're doing 13 Days of Halloween starting October 15th. It's a brand
Scary.
Yes. We'll have different themed stuff going on all month long.
Awesome.
So I don't want to give away what
chat.
some of them are, but some of it's video, some of it's podcast related, some of it's written articles. Lots of stuff planned, so look for it.
Should we
both on
wear
the game
costumes
side
off
and
for
game
13
side.
days?
If you want
That's
to.
pretty fun.
Awesome.
That'd be fun. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, cool.
And then we can take pictures and show everybody Greg in his daily costume.
If only
It'll
the
be one.
listeners.
Yeah, it'll be
Is it one every day?
No, it's the same costume every day.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't have enough money for
Watch
13
it.
costumes.
Watch it, please.
Please.
No, that would take away from what 13 Days of Halloween's all about.
Only if you're dressing as a garbage cow.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. As always, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or anything else you'd like the PlayStation team and myself to talk about, put it on the message boards. We have a weekly thread. Greg,
Yeah.
time to go. Take us out.
A final song for a while.
That's right. Oh, wait, before we go, let everyone know, when will you be back?
As far as Podcast Beyonds,
Correct.
not next week or the week after that, but the week after that.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. You're gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah, so you get 2 podcasts without me.
Beyond.
Ryan, you'll have to sing. Probably.
Owned.
I don't know.
All right,
Yeah, I
fine.
guess.
Jeff,
But
sing.
when you come back,
I'll be-
come back, we've got an epic one planned.
Yes.
I think that when we come back, that should be the one we've always talked about.
Okay, wink.
Yeah. You know the one I'm
Martindale.
talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Or there'll be time to work on it, but when he gets back before the episode starts, though. Or will it need to be the one after that?
Yeah, what day do you get back?
Oh yeah, I come back 2 weeks from Wednesday to work.
Good, so we'll have
That's gonna be a
time.
plan.
We'll have
Okay.
a very special song for you then to mark Craig's return.
All right, cool.
But in the meantime, what's this song?
It was, it's the end of my bachelorhood, and it's a little bit sad. So I'm gonna do Closing Time. I don't even remember who sings this. Anybody help me out? I cannot remember this for life of me.
No.
But of course, I've themed it for us. Be on time. One last call for Sony news. So finish your Halo 3. Be on time. Turn on all the PSPs in bathrooms around the world. I know which podcast I want to listen to. I know which podcast I want to listen to. I know which podcast I want to listen to. Be on time. Every
Congratulations, Greg.
beginning
We will see
comes
everybody
from
next
some
week.
other
Until then,
beginnings.
wrap.